The alerts on your dashboard is one thing to look out for every single time you start your car. Now, it could range from just a door that is improperly closed, of course, to the check engine light that we all dread so much. But that is your car's own way of communicating to you that there's something wrong with the car. And these signs and alerts should never be taken for granted. And we're here to educate you and educate myself, of course, on that this morning. And Kosi Dagbe, I'm correct. Kosi Dagbe is back. He's the CEO and founder from the iGarage. He's here this morning to take us through all the signs on your dashboard that you should always look out for and never ignore. Most of us are guilty of that. Sometimes the alert will come on the dashboard for like 3 months, 6 months, and we are still driving the cars until the unfortunate happens. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, and good morning to our viewers across the world.
I'm sure they are listening with rapt attention this morning. Anyway,
I'm happy to be back.
I'm glad that you're here as well. I mean, we are continuing our series on car maintenance and all, and that's why you're back. And I'm very happy that you're here, especially with this one. So when we talk about alerts popping up on our dashboards and all that, how important are they?
Yeah, Cookie, let me give you a brief history about what even prompted the formation of iGarage.
All right.
I think the idea came by 12 years ago.
Okay.
So around that time, I lost my job. So I started looking for what to do on my own.
Okay.
So something prompted me when I sit in, those days I sat in vehicles, then I became a bit attentive to what is on the dashboard. So then I saw lights and things on the dashboard. Then I'll ask the drivers, this light, what does it mean? Then the drivers were like, oh, that one is nothing. Let's keep driving.
Wow.
So then I realized, no, there is a bit of ignorance in the system. People are driving vehicles and they actually do not know even the communications the vehicle is trying to give them in terms of warning light. So then I decided to, go into that. So I bought my first diagnostic machine at the time. Then that machine, I remember I used to carry it, walk around Medina Adenta as though I'm selling herbal medicine. Some people mistaking it to be herbal medicine. Once I'm approaching them, I'm not interested, I'm this. But then I realized that no, there was a big market for that because people drive vehicles, they were driving, then they didn't know what was on the dashboard, and all of a sudden the unfortunate happened. Even either the vehicle breaks down in the middle of the road or something else happened. So then I decided to go into a business like that. But at that time, the funds were not available. So I took up a job in General Electric. And I was with General Electric for 12 years. Field service maintenance, Africa, Middle East. But after some time, then I realized that no, I needed to come back to my original dream. So when it comes to dashboard science,
you are well versed in it.
I'm very much interested in that.
Congratulations.
So these are kind of communication lights that appear on our dashboards just to communicate with the driver as to the condition of the vehicle. So it is not all of them that are bad, because we have we can categorize them into 3 main types according to the color in which they appear. So we have the green and the blue. The green and the blue mainly. So those ones are just telling us that a device, a component, or a system is active. Something is working. So those ones are not really telling us something is faulty.
Okay, hold on. Does this cut across every type of car? All the different types of cars that we have? So definitely it would be the green and the blue.
And the blue. If you see a green and a blue light on your dashboard, you shouldn't be worried. It's just telling you something is happening.
So this is a universal color for all vehicles? Okay, good.
For instance, we could see the directional arrow over there appearing green. It's just telling you either the guy is trying to turn right or left. So
that's the indicator light.
Indicator light.
Most people in Ghana will say travigator, but it is actually traffic indicator.
Yeah, traffic indicator.
Traffic indicator.
So so then we go to the yellow or the orange light. The yellow or the orange light, we call them caution lights. So they are telling you something is not well, something is not right, but it's not an emergency. So within a reasonable amount of time, you should take an action.
Okay.
Yes, it's something that you shouldn't ignore. Something is actually not well,
Okay.
but yeah, within a reasonable time, please take an action on them.
Okay. When you say reasonable, maybe in a week or two or in a day or two?
At this stage, we can't quantify the time, but reasonable is like maybe you are at a place that you can immediately get to your mechanic.
Okay.
But yes, don't just sleep over them, but get to your mechanic and get them sorted out for you.
Even your life is at risk. You're the one driving the car, so as soon as possible.
As soon as possible.
Fine. Okay.
Yeah. Then we have the red light. You know, even in football, red means
stop.
Danger. So once we have the red light, it means that one we are not talking about reasonable amount of time. It's emergency immediately.
Okay.
Even if it matters most, you should stop your vehicle wherever you are.
Okay.
You shouldn't move. Either you get a mechanic to come in or you get a vehicle to.
Wow.
So we'll start with something like the low oil pressure light.
Okay. Why don't we? So these are the red alerts. But we didn't go through the yellow alerts yet. Can we go through the yellow alerts before we come to the red?
Okay, we can go through the yellow alerts.
So that exactly.
So the first yellow alert you have over there.
ABS. What is that?
Anti-lock braking system.
Oh.
Anti-lock braking system. So what it means is that modern vehicles are equipped with a system that when you have to do a hard braking, what I meant by hard braking is all of a sudden something is crossing you, you're on top speed, and you have to instantly apply your brakes. You don't want your wheels to actually lock. Because when your wheels lock, that vehicle is going to kind of skid off or screech on the road. If you notice on the highway sometimes, you are driving and you'll see that there's a time mark maybe on the road. A vehicle had applied the brake and maybe that vehicle veered off. So the anti-lock braking system is embedded in modern vehicles so that when you apply that hard braking, it's like the wheels, traction is cut to the wheels so that the wheel kind of, they do not lock. You'll be able to, it helps you to also kind of maneuver your steering and the vehicle should just go on a slow roll and stop instead of the wheels locking for the vehicle to veer off the road.
Okay. I see. So anti-lock brake system.
Anti-lock brake system.
That's the ABS.
That's it.
Okay.
Yes.
Next to it is like a...
Yes, that is...
an exclamation sign, sort of. What is that one?
So, yes, so that round thing, you will see the red one too, but that's the yellow one. So it's warning you, or it's kind of cautioning you about your braking system, a component within your braking system. It could be that your brake pad is kind of... worn out, so you should take caution. It's like your brake pad has kind of worn out to a level that it's no longer effective, so you should pay attention to that. Okay.
The third one. This must be the light.
Yeah, that's the light.
Yeah, it's a light.
The third one is kind of that shows like a high beam. So because it's straight, the lines in front of so high beam light. High beam. Yeah.
So is it telling you that your high beam lights are faulty?
It's sometimes if your lights are not. Yeah, if your high beam light is faulty, it will come up. If the light is actually active in a desirable manner, we'll have it in the form of a green or a blue light.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then the other one.
This one means that your fuel is finished.
Yeah, so you know the lights.
Just go and refill.
You know the lights already.
But not everybody out there knows that.
Yeah, so that one means that you are running low on fuel or you have run low on fuel. Normally, this comes. But there is also another one that is mostly on the dashboard with an arrow. I want to say this because a lot of people don't know about this. If I give you my vehicle now and just driving out of here, you notice that the vehicle is low on fuel with that light, and you get to the filling station. Then you get to the filling station, you start turning left or right to see where my tank is.
Your tank is, yeah.
A lot of people don't know where the tank is, but just viewing the dashboard,
you can tell.
There's normally an arrow that is placed beside that tank-like thing.
Okay.
So the direction of the arrow
shows you where the tank is on the car.
Exactly. So just by way of information. Okay. So next time you take somebody's vehicle, don't be turning left to right.
Don't call the person when you get to the filling station.
Exactly. Where is your tank or whatever? Just look on the dashboard. There's an arrow beside that symbol that will tell you.
Okay. If I'm going to guess the next one by the tank, washer fluid.
Washer fluid.
Yes, washer fluid is finished.
You are running low on washer fluid, or
Yes,
it's finished.
yes,
Yeah. So you need to refill.
Okay. Now let's come to the second line. And I think I can imagine, I even mentioned it in my intro, these are open doors, like indicating that maybe a door or two is not properly closed.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Now let's move to the second one on
the
second line.
The second one on the second line too?
Parking lights?
Parking brake. So I told you, we'll see that symbol. You see, it's on the first. When you look at the ABS and what I said about the brake pad. So most brake symbols will come in the form of a circle with a two arcs kind of superimposing that. Yes. So that's giving you an information about your parking brake. Oh. Either you are driving with your parking brake on, or if you notice your parking brake is on. It's down, but you are still driving and that light is on, then it means there's a problem with the parking brake. Okay.
All right. Now this one most of us see, but let me just clarify something. The parking brake, is this the same one as the hand brake?
Yes, so now we call it parking brake because we have the foot brake.
Oh, and the hand as well.
And the hand brake. So you can, if you are in the vehicle and you have to depress your brake with your distance, then you can't be referring to it as a parking brake.
Okay.
So
as a hand brake.
As a hand brake. So we make the general reference parking brake.
Yes. Okay. The next one, most of us have seen. I've seen it too many times on my dashboard. Does that mean that the engine oil is exhausted?
So that one is quite a very dangerous light, especially if it appears in the form of red.
Ooh.
So it's an oil pressure light.
Oil pressure light.
Oil pressure light.
Okay.
You need the oil in the engine for lubrication and cooling. So the oil normally when the vehicle is idling or when the vehicle is not
in motion.
It's off. Let's say engine is off. Okay. The oil drains all the way into the oil sump or the oil reservoir. The moment you start, the oil pump lifts the oil through the oil passageways all the way to the top of the engine. So we need a certain pressure of oil within the engine for the engine to work effectively. I think most vehicles will have their oil pressure shares between the ranges of 25 to 65 psi. Okay. So anything out of that range will kind of trigger that light. But when you start a vehicle, normally this light will come on within few seconds and go off. If it doesn't go off, it means there is an oil pressure light, an oil pressure issue. If you are driving and you see that light popping up, please, you have to stop the vehicle.
Wow, and get it checked immediately. Yeah. Okay.
I'm sure it will come among the red lights, then I can kind of
expatiate on it.
Exactly.
Okay. Now the next one we kind of saw in the first line, but I see that this one, the lights are pointing downwards.
Exactly.
Okay.
So highway driving, a lot of us do not know the difference between the high beam and the low beam. Okay. So you could see that even in the middle of the night, because these lights help in communication to the oncoming vehicle. So if you are doing town driving or there's an oncoming vehicle, you don't need to drive with the first one because you'll be blinding the person. You may think, okay, I need a high beam to kind of go, but once you blind somebody, the person can drive into your lane. And this things have caused some crashes on our roads. So when you are front-facing somebody or an oncoming vehicle, you don't need to drive with the high beam.
Okay, I see. The next one, I'm sure, is about temperature.
I know you know this one.
Yes,
you could see the thermometer over there.
Yes. So that one, yes, I can tell. And then when you come to the last line, I'm not sure about the two arrows, but I see the battery sign. Of course, I see the wear your seatbelt sign. So let's talk about the first three. What does the two arrows mean?
The two arrows. Yeah. So the thing you mentioned about the traffic indicator. So when they appear same time, then it's what we call hazard over here. It's like maybe there's an emergency or something. Some people mistaken it that when you reach a crossroad and you want to go straight and you have to put the two, then somebody, I think that is a Ghanaian thing anyway. So you're at a crossroad, when I put the two on, then it means I'm actually go. Yeah, but it's a hazard. Once there is an issue, emergency, you can put that one. Then other road users are supposed to give you way to be able to kind of go through.
Okay, Now, the second one.
The check engine light. That's the one.
That's the most dreadful one.
Exactly. That's the one that most of us ignore.
Do we have it in the red alerts as well?
Normally, it comes in the form of yellow. It's mostly yellow. When it comes red, it means your engine is almost dead.
Jesus.
Some of the vehicles will have it, but it comes red. It doesn't give you a lot of time to do anything.
Oh, wow.
Again.
But
so
most of the time,
most times it will be yellow. It can stay on your vehicle, yellow, weeks, months,
some people have driven years with this check engine light on. And here in Ghana, they'll tell you, oh, we're normal. But is it that normal?
It's not normal. It's not normal because let me tell you something. You have so many sensors embedded to the vehicle.
Okay.
And this check engine light is the only way that you can know or you can tell if there's something wrong with the vehicle.
Right.
So it ranges from something as simple as maybe your gas tank or your petrol tank. If you don't close it well, your petrol will be kind of leaking out in the form of a gas, in a gaseous form. Then it could be something as dangerous as maybe loss of compression in your engine, or you are having your exhaust pipe, the catalytic converter being blocked. So that is going to put a lot of back pressure on your engine and you may lose components in your engine. So when it comes initially, it may not be anything very, very, very dangerous.
Okay.
But you ignore it. When the other dangerous ones begin to come, how can you tell? Because it's the only light that can tell you that there's something wrong with the vehicle. So it is always advisable that you should know why the light is there, even if you don't want to take it off, or you don't have the means to take it off. So periodically, you need to get a technician to diagnose the vehicle, and you are aware why the light is on.
So it really is not normal.
No.
Once you see it.
The only light you are supposed to have on your dashboard is the blue and the green one.
Okay.
Any other light should be a cause of alarm for you.
Okay. All right. Thank you for explaining what these yellow lights mean. Now, the dangerous ones you've talked about are the red ones. So let's get the red alerts on the screen so Kosi can help us understand exactly what's wrong with our cars. Okay, now we are starting with the very first line. You kind of explained it when we're discussing the yellow ones, but what does this red mean? For the first one, I see lights. I see the lights.
Yeah, so like I told you, anything red kind of means that something is not well with the vehicle. So anytime you see a red light on your vehicle, you shouldn't just sit down,
brush it off,
unconcerned. Any red light means that there's something. So you have something like that's the high beam light.
What does this mean? It means it's faulty?
Yes.
Okay.
It means it's faulty. There's something wrong with it.
Okay.
You need to actually check it.
Okay.
Then you have the small battery light over there. When this light appears on your dashboard, what it means is that the vehicle is actually running on the battery. Let me explain something to you. You see, we need the battery for the initial start of the vehicle. Okay. But just when the vehicle starts, it's like the power is now drawn from the alternator. And
not
the alternator,
the battery anymore.
Not the battery anymore.
When the car is in motion.
When the car is in motion, or even if not in motion, it's idle, and the engine is on. Okay. The alternator now supplies the electrical power to all the components that will need it. Okay. So in the event that that battery light comes on, what it tells you is that the battery is now supplying. It's just an indication that the battery is now supplying the power to the vehicle
instead of the
alternator. And you can only draw so much before the battery goes down. So when this happens, normally we advise that, especially if you are in the middle of nowhere and you need to save your vehicle, or you need to save on power to get to the nearest technician, switch off most of the electrical gadgets, your air conditioning, the light. If it's not in the night, then you can put off your light. But if it's in the night, then obviously you can't put off your main light. So you can put off the radio and any other thing that is drawing electrical power, so that you save on your battery, but get it done as quickly as possible.
I see. The next one, we see the tank again. Does this mean that the fuel is completely exhausted?
Yeah, so it will once you see that, it's like you are,
this one, the car cannot move
anymore. You are low on fuel. It doesn't necessarily mean that the fuel is
completely depleted.
Yes. So it depends on the auto manufacturer. You see, some of these lights, the auto manufacturer can still put it like the low fuel indicate. Okay. Some of them will still have it yellow, telling you that you are running low on fuel. Okay. Some will bring it red, telling you that, hey, you are actually down there.
Okay. The next one, close
the
to the
one with
filter.
the rectangle with the
3 waves.
zigzag.
Yeah.
That is a front defroster light.
Front defroster light.
We may not need that one in this part of. So you say, let me give you an example. When you are driving in the rain,
okay,
and you put on your air condition, it gets to a point.
It gets foggy.
Yeah. So you may want to put that functionality on. If you have it red on your dashboard and it's staying on, it means you have an issue.
It's faulty.
Yeah.
I see. Now, these are 4 doors that are open.
Yeah, so sometimes even it's just telling you your doors are open.
Okay.
Your door, either your doors or one of your doors is open or is faulty. If you check all your doors are closed and this light is still on, you see there's a sensor in the door. It's on and off sensor. That will tell you whether, so once the door makes contact with it, that sensor will have to kind of indicate to the vehicle owner that your doors are locked or your doors are closed. So if you see that light, you need to, the first thing is to check your doors to be closed. If they are closed, then you need to go and check on why you still have the lights
Because maybe the sensors have gone off or something.
Exactly.
Okay, the next one to it, I don't think I'm familiar with.
Yeah, so that is what we call the glow plug lights.
The glow plug lights.
Yes, on the roadside, is termed the heater. You see, you can only see this one on diesel engine vehicles. Okay. Because those are compression ignition. We call them compression ignition engines. The diesel engines do not have the spark plugs. So something similar is what we call the glow plugs. So this end comes in the form of a heater to kind of warm the diesel, depending on the kind of injection system, to warm either the air or the air diesel mixture during the compression phase, to be so that when it gets to that level that it can self-ignite. Yeah. So when this thing is on, most times that is why when you drive a diesel engine vehicle, you have to, the starting is quite different from a petrol petrol engine vehicle, especially in the morning. You open your key for a while, make sure that that thing goes off. So it tells you that, okay, the glow plugs are off, your air is well heated up for the engine to start. Right. So once that light is on, it means that your glow plugs are not working and you are not warming your air or diesel air mixture very well, and you have difficulty in starting. Okay.
All right. So we'll come to the second line. I think I'm familiar with the first one. It means that your airbags have been deployed.
Yes not necessarily. Okay. It's just one of the reasons. Okay. Airbags, so on the airbag system, we have the crash or the impact sensor. Because if you hit something, there should be something that should indicate to the airbag control model that there is a crash for the airbags to be deployed. So either the sensor itself is faulty, the control model is faulty, or the airbag has been deployed. Okay. So it is always good that when you see any of these lights, you get to your mechanic or you get to your technician to maybe put his diagnostic tool to know exactly what is causing any of these lights to come on. Okay.
Next to it, I still see the headlights.
Yes. The headlight, I think we can skip that one.
Because we talked about it.
Yes.
Okay, and then the washer fluid?
Yeah.
When it's red, what does it mean? It's empty?
Yeah, the washer fluid is empty.
Okay. Next to it is still the seat belt sign.
The seat belt.
So this means your seat belt is not working?
This means you haven't put on your seat belt. Okay. If you put on your seat belt and it's still there, there's a sensor within the locker over there that will tell you that, the seat belt has engaged. So if you have this on and you already buckled up, you may want to find out. But most of the times, it's an indication that you haven't kind of buckled your seat belt. And you know, it comes in the form of red, not yellow or not green, because seat belt issues are very, very serious. Yeah. If you don't put on your seat belt and something happens, your guess is as right as mine.
And in most cars, this sign would come with a beeping sound.
Exactly.
It will beep for as long as possible.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's giving you double warning.
Yeah.
The audio and the visual.
Yeah.
I think it's just one light that will kind of mostly, if my memory
But
serves
it
me
will
right, yeah.
beep until you
Until
do
you put it, yeah.
you do the needful.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So next to it, I see the horn.
That's a trumpet, yeah.
Okay.
So your horn may be 40 or something.
And then the triangle.
Red triangle.
Yeah.
It means danger. So
Wow.
red triangle, depending on the auto manufacturer, you could see that sign also showing when you put on your hazard light. So most times when you see your whatever,
the red triangle,
where you press your hazard, yes. So
you will normally see this sign on it. Yeah.
Telling you. So, and hazard, that is if there is a danger, you are now kind of activating that light.
And communicating to other road users.
To other people. Some vehicles will have it coming on that there is a problem with the vehicle. You get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a problem with the vehicle. You see a red light beeping. It's no longer telling you about the hazard. That is why I think in our first encounter, yeah. I said that every user must have a certain idea about the vehicle's manual. So that because that may mean something on my vehicle and it may mean something different on your vehicle.
On my vehicle.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. Now on the same, okay, no, so we are done with that one. Let's come to the third line. We've talked about the oil already. You still want to go over it?
Yeah.
When it's red
because
now?
This has caused a lot of problems for people. The oil light and the temperature light.
Okay.
They have caused a lot of problems for people. So, and sometimes it can also be wrongly diagnosed.
Okay.
Appearance of that oil or that light doesn't necessarily mean that there is a problem. But the first step is to stop the vehicle and seek for help. Because sometimes the oil sending unit, or what we call on the roadside the pressure sensor or whatever, may be faulty. The circuit may be faulty. So you could have a very good oil running through your engine, oil pressure running through your engine, but then you will still have that light sometimes coming up. So when it appears, you need to get help. And now the technician or the mechanic will have to confirm whether there's a problem, an actual problem, or it's just a faulty sending unit or circuit. And let me talk about this briefly because it has brought a lot of vehicles into our garage.
Okay.
Causes. When you use the wrong viscosity oil, every vehicle is designed to take a certain particular oil in terms of viscosity. Okay. So let's say so if you use that wrong oil, it will cause that. If your oil runs low, let's say you have a leakage or whatever, or you have gone to refill your oil and the technician made a mistake, he didn't put the right quantity of oil, you also have problem. Then also long usage of the same oil, the heat kind of gets the oil to lose its viscosity over time. So that is why they will tell you that make sure you change your oil 3 months or 5,000 kilometers, whichever comes first, depending on the auto manufacturer. Okay. Or faulty oil pump. Faulty oil pump. Because oil pump is like the heart of the oil system that pumps the oil around. Okay. So if the oil pump is faulty, it's not pumping, it's not generating,
it means it's a serious problem.
Yes. Or over time, it's like high mileage vehicles will also kind of have their clearances, or what we call the oil passageways within the engine. Those clearances become bigger. So everything may be due to maybe friction, maybe you haven't changed your oil. You see, some people are noted for not changing their oil within the reasonable
stipulated time.
Yes, or the time advised. So you don't change your oil within the time. So the oil over there has lost its viscosity. It's become almost like water. It's running through. So metal parts are rubbing each other. Once, for instance, the bearing, there's something kind of, when you take our bearings, there's a soft material kind of used to coat the bearings we call barbit. So these things, if you don't kind of change your oil over time, the barbit kind of gets eroded out. So the clearances become bigger. So once your clearances become bigger, the next time you even put that oil, now it's like the oil pump has been designed with the oil passageways in mind to kind of create a certain pressure. I mentioned earlier that 25 to 65 psi is the normal oil pressure for most vehicles. So if your clearances become bigger, it's like, just picture it like you are in the home, you have a tap, coming with a certain pressure.
Okay.
You have now replaced that pipe or whatever with a bigger pipe.
To fit the pressure.
Yeah, the pump may be working very well, but because the conductor or the pipe has kind of an increase in diameter now, the pressure will drop. So anytime you use the wrong oil and your oil passageways become kind of eroded or whatever, and your clearances become bigger, then these things happen, these lights will appear. Okay. But how do we know that there is a real issue or whatever? All the technician will have to do is maybe take out the sending unit is attached to the engine, close to the oil filter. Then plug a hard gauge, I mean a physical gauge over there to read off the actual pressure of the engine. So if it reads off and you realize that no, the pressure is normal, then the vehicle itself or the engine doesn't have a problem. So it needs to solve the other issues now. But if the hard gauge indicates low pressure, let's say below the 25 psi, then it means there's a real oil pressure issue which must be investigated further.
Okay. Let's bring back the chart and quickly just run through it. We have just about 2 minutes to go. So if it's possible, kindly bring back the chart. But then you were talking about how often we should change our oil. I mean, what's the ideal time frame? It's
stated in every vehicle's manual, but ideally, because of our conditions,
we don't even read the manuals.
Because of our conditions here in Ghana, we advise that 5,000. We peg it at 5,000 kilometers or 3 months, whichever comes first.
You mentioned. Okay. All right. So on that same line, okay, are we skipping the temperature? You've talked about the temperature already.
No, temperature. If you see that line, if you see that light on your day, please do not ignore it, because it's one light with the oil pressure light. Those are the things that can damage your engine quickly. So anytime you see that thermometer with those things, a light on your dashboard, it mostly means that your engine temperature is already running above the design temperature, and you should park your vehicle immediately and do things. Let me say something over here quickly. You see, most time when we experience overheating, the engine may still be fine, but the way we treat the overheating kind of causes our
damage to the engine.
So it's like the engine temperature has already risen up.
What's the best thing to do when it happens?
The best thing to do is to wait for the temperature to come back to normal temperatures before you pour.
By pouring
you don't
water?
need to pour anything in it at that time. So what I'll do is, it's like you open your hood, you open everything to allow the temperature to kind of quickly dissipate.
What if it's in the afternoon and the sun is blazing?
You
know the temperatures are quite high on the side.
I know. I know, but you don't pour water or cold coolant into it quickly, because normally when that happens, people after some days notice that no, the oil has or the water has become milky. So it's like oil and water has kind of mixed together now. This thing happens normally because your oil cooler or the oil heat exchanger, it's a chamber where the oil and the hot oil and the coolant comes to kind of exchange heat for the coolant to go back to the radiator and kind of cool off. There are fine materials that separate the oil and the coolant. So once this thing, the inside membrane gets heated up, and you just instantaneously cool it, you kind of it's like you are cooling that thing off to a lower temperature too quickly.
Too abruptly.
So so it will kind of disintegrate inside. So the next time you'll see that now there is a passageway between the oil and the distance. But let me give you one tip. When you experience overheating, normally, especially where you can't find help, all you have to do is lower your glasses, turn on the heater.
Turn on the heater?
Yes.
Which one first? Open the windows.
If you don't open the window,
down.
If you don't open the window, it's like the cabin will become hotter for you.
Okay.
So it's like open you could do any of them first, but turn on the heater, so that now the heat from the engine will now come into the cabin. It will kind of, so you kind of dissipate the heat from the engine as quickly as possible. You can do that for a period and manage to get to a safe position.
I just want to go over it again. So the best thing to do when you're experiencing overheating, first of all, bring down all your windows and turn on the heater.
Yeah, turn on the heater.
Car.
Turn on the heater.
Okay.
You see, it's just the same coolant that comes into the heater core behind your dashboard to provide the heat. So once you on the heater, it's like it's going to take that extra heat from the engine and bring it into the cabin. And from the cabin, it goes to the atmosphere. So you're able to kind of dissipate or kind of release the heat from the engine as quickly as possible to kind of return engine temperature to normalcy.
Many people will need this tip because many people go through it here in this country. Wow. Anyway, so let's quickly probably just go to the last line. But if we are not able to exhaust it, do not worry at all. It's a series that we are treating on TV3 New Day, especially to help you car owners out there so that you know how to manage all these alerts when you see them on your screens. Close to the temperature one, I don't think I know this one. The one close by the fan, I don't think I know it. Which one is that one? Yes, to the right, close to the fan.
Okay.
On the third line.
So if you see that thing, it's a fog light.
Okay.
So a red fog light means that there's, I already told you that fog light means there's something wrong with the fog light.
So that's the fog light. And then the fan? The fan. Yeah.
So you may want to, so most of the vehicles are, especially the saloon cars, they are running on electric cooling fans. So when you see that, it may be that your fan is already off. And once your fan goes off, you may experience overheating. Sometimes to the fan is one of the things that also cause overheating is your fan could be on, but you know the fans are designed to run at a certain RPM, rotational speed. So with a high mileage vehicle, the fan kind of drops in terms of speed over time. So a fan that is designed to run maybe at 5,000 RPM, maybe running at 2,000, 3,000 RPM. With your eye, you will say, oh, my fan is working. But there is a device. During your routine maintenance, the technician is able to use what we call tachometer to be able to read off the fan speed, to know that the fan is still running at its design speed. Otherwise, you may be experiencing overheating, and nobody will be able to tell where the overheating is coming from. But your fan is running, but then it's not kind of running at the desired RPM to take the heat away from the engine. Okay. We've run out of time, unfortunately. Can we do, I've seen the ABS, we saw that in the yellow, and then the ESP. Don't fret at all. If we are not able to exhaust it today, we'll continue next week. But ESP, what does that mean? The ABS causes problems more than the ESP. Let me, because... Okay, so those two. Let's do the ABS and the ESP then. Yes. So for the ABS, like I've already told you, anti-lock brake system. So once you see that light on, it means that functionality is off. So you're actually driving what I term a dangerous vehicle. Because in the event that you need hard braking, you cannot apply the brakes. You won't be able to apply the brakes. But you know what? The ABS, you know what normally will get your ABS system damaged? No. Something as little as the brake fluid. The brake fluid, you can just spend about maybe 200 Ghana cedis to flush your brake fluid periodically. But a lot of people don't know about this. So the brake fluid stays inside the system for long. See, we say that the brake fluid is hygroscopic. That is, it attracts atmospheric moisture into itself. And I think the ceiling value we expect is 4% moisture in the brake fluid. Anything around 4%, we don't even want to get to the 4%. So the 4% means that now you have too much moisture. And moisture is water. And water, the brake fluid runs at a very high temperature. I think some of the brake fluids reach temperature regions of about 140 to 160 degrees Celsius. And water boils 100 degrees Celsius. So that's beyond boiling. Let me explain something to you. Water boils 100 degrees Celsius at atmospheric pressure. Right. The caveat here is atmospheric pressure, because when you take water to the mountainous areas, it boils at a different temperature. So what happens is that the water will boil in your ABS or in your brake fluid faster, so then forms steam. And steam is air, and air is compressible. So that is why when you press your brake sometimes, it's like the brake feels spongy, or it's like you don't feel the instant reaction from your wheels. You press your brake, sometimes you have to pump before kind of having the response over there. What it means is there's so much moisture in your.
Because see, there's so much more that you need to teach us.
I think
yes.
we need
of
to.
course, we will definitely continue next week. What we'll do is when we come, we'll recap all that we have talked about, and then we finally exhaust the ones that we were not able to talk about today. But we appreciate your time this morning. Thank you very much for coming. Kosi Dagbe is the CEO and founder of iGarage. iGarage, that's where he is from this morning, and he's been helping us with this. These series on car maintenance, and today we were talking about some of the alerts that you see on your dashboard that you must pay prompt attention to, and he's already hinted that when you see them, do not ignore but do something about them immediately. Kosi, thank you very much. Have a great day. Black Rasta is our next guest here on TV3 New Day. Don't miss that conversation. Stay with us.